Jagannath Gopal Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining today for our Tuesday Sanghas. So, we are discussing the 26 Vaishnava quality series since last few weeks. And I'll be speaking on the quality of desirelessness. Akama, a devotee has no material desires. So, I'll first start with Mangalacharan and then we'll continue our discussion. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिर्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागजातां सागना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining. I will share my screen. Are you able to see
Yes, Prabhu. Visible.
now also?
Yes.
I did the full screen.
Yes, it is visible full screen. Yeah.
Okay. Prabhu, actually it says your screen sharing is paused on the top.
That is because you navigated from the screen that you were sharing. So when you navigate from the screen that you share, it gets paused.
Okay, okay.
So
But you are able to see, right? It's
yeah, but it's just the first slide. Can you navigate
yeah,
between
yeah, yeah.
slides?
Uh, are you seeing the second slide?
No. No.
Mm. Okay, I think I will just, I'm not sure what the issue is.
Which app is this,
This
Prabhu?
is Keynote, Prabhu, MacBook
Acha.
Keynote. Uh,
So, yeah, I don't know about Keynote. Anyone knows about Keynote, how to share?
key-
So basically you want to see the notes, whereas we should see the this thing, na? So can
yeah,
you,
note my notes are on the other screen, Prabhu. Notes I can access, but
right,
I
so I
think
think
this full
what you can,
screen.
yeah, what you can do is Yeah, stop sharing your screen completely. Now start your slideshow and then share the slideshow screen, like the main screen that you want us to see. Share that.
So if I make it full screen, then I'm not able to go back to the
Oh,
Zoom
acha.
window uh, for some reason.
Oh, okay, like that. Let me see. Let me let's figure this out.
Or I can.
I'm also opening Keynote and I'll try to see how this can be done. Sorry, dear devotees, just give us a few minutes. We will figure this out. Get it open. Okay, now I'll play.
So Prabhu, I shared the whole desktop to try this desktop window.
Maybe
Now
try
can you
that.
see?
Let's see. Yeah, I can see full screen. Yeah, it's navigating also.
Okay, okay. I think it's
Okay,
good.
it worked. Okay, great.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Sorry, devotees, for that. So, as I mentioned before, we are discussing the 26 Vaishnava quality series, and I'll be speaking on desirelessness. I seek blessings from all of you so that I can speak something in Guru Parampara. So this topic of desirelessness, akama, the name, I found the name to be a little bit interesting. So I'll just share how we will go through this discussion and the overview. We'll discuss something about what is desire and what do we mean by desirelessness. What is the meaning of desireless, being desireless or desirelessness? And an example of personality from Srimad Bhagavatam who exemplifies this particular quality. So the first thing which we can discuss is what is a desire. So, by the dictionary meaning, we can see it is in both the verb and noun. Verb is to long or hope for, and or to express a wish for. And noun is the conscious impulse towards something that promises enjoyment or satisfaction in its attainment, or a formal uh, request or petition for some action. So this is what the dictionary says. So we'll now go to the small question I had, that what do we mean by desireless, being desireless? Is it possible to become desireless? So you can unmute, speak, or write in the chat. We can have a small discussion. What do you think about this?
I can share my thoughts, bro. In this material life, it's very difficult to be desireless. I think I'm making a connection with the other talk that we had, possessions, right? When you have a desire, you intend to possess that fulfillment of the desire. I know there's a sattvic desire, there's a tamasic desire, and there's a passionate desire. Um, Desire, it's difficult to be free of desire, but as a devotee, you can transform your material desire in the service of the Lord, and it's a sattvic desire. Like you have a car, use the car to go to the temple of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
If you're cooking food for the family, offer it to the Lord. That's a desire to eat, uh, or similar. That's just an example. So just my thought. I'm not very deep knowledgeable person, but that's what my just first thoughts.
Thank you, Mataji. I think that was beautiful. Uh, Many points you already covered, actually, important points. Thank you for that. Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, the short answer to this, I think, is no. You cannot become desireless because if I want to become desireless, that is also desire only. So,
Mm,
yeah.
nice point, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu, I have one more little bit technical issue here. So when I'm sharing my screen, I'm not able to see the chats in the Zoom when it's in
Yeah,
the
no
full
worries. I
screen.
will I will read out the chats, bro. Don't worry about
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Mhm.
So continuing our discussion, is it possible to become desireless? So desire in desire when we think about desire, the word desireless or desirelessness, sometimes it is taken in a negative way or by its a usual way we think state of no desires or nothingness. But desireless, Srila Prabhupada says, mentions that desireless means not to be inert like a stone, but to be conscious of one's actual position, and thus the desired satisfaction only come from the Supreme Lord. So the desire is actually a symptom of jiva. So we can think of it as it's a part of our existence, actually. So it's fundamentally a part of our consciousness. To exist or live means to desire something. So we cannot really become desireless at any point. If we think about a soul, a jiva, so jiva is a part and parcel of Krishna, who is a complete whole. Like in Ishopanishad invocation, we know this verse Om Purnamada Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. So a living being is naturally is part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and it has its natural function to serve the Supreme Being. So just as the parts and parcels of the body or the limbs of the body, they are naturally meant to serve the complete body. So like that, a jiva, who is a part and parcel of Krishna, who is supreme whole, is meant to serve Krishna. And also we know the jiva is eternal and spiritual. Soul does not die when body dies. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire, as Bhagavad Gita says. So soul has a natural function to desire, and it is so that comes to a point that we can never become desireless or having without any desires. So it is impossible to exist without any desires. So but when one takes to bhakti, it's attaining fullness of one's existence like waxing moon. All desires are completely satisfied. Like we know Krishna is Rasa Bihari or Akhil Rasamrit Murti, reservoir of all pleasures. So soul reciprocates, is in relationship with Krishna in different rasas. So so it's ever increasing in spiritual world. So we can see how in this case, but when the jiva comes in contact with the material energy, the the contamination happens, and that's why many times it leads to material desire. So it's actually a journey of soul from material to spiritual desires, from how we can advance, go towards Krishna. So desirelessness means no material desires in this context. It does not mean having no desires, which is a fundamental part of our existence. So Srila Prabhupada mentions two examples in this context, impersonalists and voidists. So their goal is to completely negate the desires. And so that attempt will be always futile because um, th- since we can never become desireless, so the impersonalist and voidists, they go in complete illusion that they think they escaped all ego and desires, but they ultimately fall down into the material cycle of birth and death. And if they desire to take up pure devotional service to Krishna, that is also possible. So we'll now discuss about kama and prema. Kama is in this context, it's lust versus prema, love. So this is a very famous classic shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. Atmendriya priti vancha tare bali kama Krishnendriya priti cha dhare prema nama. So this defines what is meant by kama and prema. So kama is to the desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, lust, and the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema, love. So in simple words, kama is Krishna is for enjoyment, for my enjoyment, and prema is I am for Krishna's enjoyment. So we'll see a difference between what is kama and what is prema in different aspects. We'll start with the meaning. So kama is like we discussed, desire to satisfy one's own senses, and prema is desire to satisfy Krishna's senses. And there is a motivation. In the motivation, we can see what can I get when it's kama, what can I get, and in prema, what can I give. So it's self-centeredness versus Krishna-centeredness. It's taking, exploiting versus serving and offering. And what is the result? So in kama, it's bondage, frustration, emptiness. And in prema, it's freedom, joy, fulfillment. And also, we can see how the lust is temporary and flickering, whereas prema is eternal and ever increasing. And what is the effect it has on the heart? Agitation, anxiety, greed versus peace, compassion, and humility. And the consciousness, like we discussed before, material versus and spiritual. The root cause is forgetful of Krishna, and prema is remembrance of Krishna. So, for the transformation, like we saw in the previous slide about the duration related to the duration part, it ends after the enjoyment, but the prema grows stronger through the service. It keeps on growing, ever increasing. And so, we often have heard about this that karma is a perverted reflection of love of God, and prema is pure love of God, Krishna Prem. And the examples which can be given in this case is for the Kama Ravana's attraction for Sita and Prema as Gopi's love for Krishna. So this way we can understand the difference between Kama and Prema. So now we discussed earlier about what do we mean by being desireless. How do we become desireless? In this sense, meaning how to have spiritual desires. So we can become desireless by sincerely following the directions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And our scriptures say one can even give up material desires even though he may be a neophyte stage, for example, meat eating or intoxication. So Guru and Krishna are always in our heart and they guide from within. Dadami Buddhi Yogam. and also sincerely taking to Shravanam and Kirtanam. So what this, how does sincerely taking to Shravanam and Kirtanam leads to spiritual desires? Bhagavad Gita 5.29 mentions Vishaya vinivartante nirar ahasya dehina rasa varjam rasopi asya param drishva nivartate. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So one, one gets a higher taste in bhakti, and that alone saves oneself going into the degrading, from degrading into the sinful life. And there is also a very famous verse from Shrimad Bhagavatam that advises in whatever, irrespective of whatever state we are in, even if we have full of desires, no desires, or uh, material desires, we can take to bhakti and achieve perfection. And that is the akama sarvo kamo moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yejita purusham param. So this verse says a person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desire or without any material desire or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. So this is a hope for us, even though we might have no desires, or we might be full of material desires or desiring liberation. Then if we just take to process of bhakti, worship the Supreme Purusham Param, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Whole, we can achieve the perfection. And also, the third point is we can use our skills and talents which Krishna has given us in service of Krishna. So that leads to the concept of Yukta Vairagya. So in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rup Goswami says, famous Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu verse, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjita Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. So what this says is when one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. So as long as we are in this material world, we cannot cease acting. There will be some action, but the actions are performed. We perform the actions and the fruits, we get the fruits. So when we perform the actions and get the offer the fruits to Krishna, that is Yukta Vairagya. So we have we have heard many times that we should not be attached to material opulence and things like that. So in this context, yes, um, we should not be attached to material opulence, but it can be accepted in Krishna consciousness to facilitate spreading the movement, spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya, uh, spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. So we can use uh, whatever uh, things, skills, talents we have in service of Krishna. So that is a perfection of uh, having the thing. So next is an example of this concept, difference between Karmi, Gyani and Bhakta mentalities. So there are three persons. Uh, so the case is that a person is walking on the street and he sees $100 bill fell from the pocket of the person. Uh, the bill fell on the street. Now there are three kinds of person who approach this situation. So first one is he sees the money and picks it up and uses for his enjoyment. Second person sees the money but does not pick up and moves on. And third person sees the money, picks up and gives back to the owner. So I would like you to assign these three in the three persons category. Like which category will the Karmi, Gyani and Bhakta fall in these cases?
Sees the money, picks it up, and uses it for his own. Yeah, this is Karmi, of course.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, anyone wants to take a guess for the next ones?
Second one is Gyani.
Yeah.
Sees the money but does not. And the
Yes.
third one is
Yeah.
left. But
Yeah. So third one is Bhakta because Bhakta sees that this is a property of the owner and supreme owner is Krishna. So if we apply this concept to this is application of Yukta Vairagya. So we use it in Krishna's service. So we don't karmi will take the money for his enjoyment. Gyani will avoid it, fearing that that may cause bondage, his bondage to the material world. But Bhakta actually knows the real way of using it, using in service of Krishna. So before we go to the next discussion, so in this context, we see there are few examples, like even in case of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he used to wear like good coats and travel in imported cars sometimes but that was only for preaching programs. And how Srila Prabhupada, the interaction between Srila Prabhupada and George Harrison, that when George Harrison uh, got connected to devotees and the movement, he got, uh, of course, naturally, when we do bhakti, knowledge and renunciation come. So out of that, George Harrison mentioned to Srila Prabhupada that now he wants to surrender and join the movement full time. He wants to give up his music career. He was a very famous musician. But Srila Prabhupada asked him to use his talent in Krishna's service. And that's what he did, and that helped spreading Krishna consciousness so much. He had a huge contribution in that. So, going to the next discussion point, now we have discussed about how we need to how is the journey of soul from material desires to spiritual desires. But there is always a thing that uh, the material desires, because of our conditioning from the external environment, they keep on persisting, they keep on coming. So how to resist the persisting material desires even before attaining platform of spontaneous bhakti? So how do we resist?
Yes, anyone in the chat also you can put. So one thing I feel here, Prabhu, we can put safeguards around our consciousness, in terms of, yeah, if there is something that I'm conditioned to doing, then in a negative manner, then we sort of put certain barriers between us and the stimulus. That is one way. In another way, it could be said that, just like you mentioned in the beginning, using our talents. So similarly, using our proclivities, using our tendencies. in the service of Krishna in some way or the other. That is another way where we can resist, yeah,
Hmm.
persisting material desires. Sorry. Yeah, I was just thinking about that play of words, resisting, persisting. But anyway, Lekha Mataji, you have your hand raised, mother.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, I had very similar thoughts in the sense. One thing that uh, really helps me is to be in the association and like have like confidential associates around us so that they are able to like let us know where we strike the right balance because sometimes we can be in either of the cases where sometimes we are like okay no I want to no material desire is good and we completely give up. That's actually not like practical and we immediately crash and burn out, versus on the other hand just be have doing a lot of having a lot of unwanted and unregulated desires. So to just strike that balance in between, just to like strike the balance, having a really good association is my number one point. And second one is, as we keep doing our sadhana, be it chanting through Vani and through reading, our desires very naturally get cleansed and naturally regulated. Um, that is something that I'm experiencing. So I just thought I'll share these two.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice points, very practical points also. And yeah, I think one thing which came to my mind hearing these inputs was also like in Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse that Sangat Sanjayate Kama. So the desire, I think in Nectar of Instruction or Devotion in Introduction, Srila Prabhupada says that the attitude, sorry, the the desires with the company of people we keep, we get the desires according to that. So if we are in devotee association, we are more inclined to have spiritual desires. So thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu and Lekha Mataji, for very nice points. So uh,
So just one more thing, Prabhu. Suman
yeah, yeah.
Mataji says Shravanam and Kirtanam helps with resisting material desires because of fulfillment of soul.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yes, that is also a nice point, but I'm looking for something which everyone knows. It's just before that. But yeah, I'll just move. So His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj, in that book of 26 Qualities of a Devotee, in this section, he tells that so we can resist this persisting material desires by doing tapasya, austerity. So austerity is very important uh, in the sense that it helps us reach a purified state of consciousness to ultimately reach the transcendental happiness. But it has to be done in a proper spirit, that is only to please Guru and Krishna, going closer to Krishna. Otherwise, it might lead to uh, hard heartedness or pride or even anger also. So the austerity has to be done in a proper spirit. And we also know that pretty much that nothing valuable is achieved without endeavors and the austerity. And the most valuable thing is Krishna consciousness, bhakti. So it has a very importance, very much of its own importance of austerity. Enforcing self restraint to achieve a higher level of happiness is done by everyone, and even the one who wants material gains. For example, in a case of patient and doctor, the patient is in diseased state, but doctor recommends him some medication, some food to avoid, and things like that. So it is a tapasya for him, but that is actually for his ultimate well-being. So it is compared to the a disease state, that we are this body, versus a normal state, which is a spiritual state, which is blissful and knowledge. So we can see the from this example how this concept applies here, and also some other examples from this real world, like athlete or CEO or any other profession, that one has to undergo so much tapasya, so much regulated schedule, diet, and so on, in order to gain higher level of happiness, even though it may be material, but still. So how important it would be in for us who are on the uh, path to Krishna. So there are two kinds of happiness. One is Preya and the other one is Shreya. Preya is immediate. For example, how children's minds work. They want all immediate pleasures, whatever, whenever they are playing or eating. And Shreya is ultimate. For example, a student who is studying in a college, uh, is he knows that he has to give priority to his studies to have a better future. So he avoids having socializing in the evenings, or investing in his time in other activities other than what his focus is, so that he he gets the ultimate happiness in this example. So a mature human being will give up prayer for Shreya, and that is what austerity is. So giving up immediate things which give immediate pleasure for ultimate happiness. So our conditioned nature will drag us down to things which are contrary to Krishna consciousness. But if we take shelter of Shastra and spiritualize our intelligence, then we'll be able to control our mind and senses. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita 3.43 which shows elucidates this chariot example, that evam buddhe param bhutva samasthabhya atmanam atmana jahi shatru mahabhao kama rupam durasadam. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. So, in this example, we can see the horses. So, there are different entities: horses, and the reins, the ropes which control them, and the charioteer, the chariot, and passenger. So, in this example, the horses are the senses, the five senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. And the reins, the ropes, are mind. The charioteer is the intelligence, and the passenger is the soul, and chariot is the body. So if we take shelter of Shastra and spiritualize our intelligence, make it strong, um, that will help control. So when the charioteer is strong, he can control the horses with the ropes. So in similar way, when the intelligence is strong, that can control the mind and senses, and that is the way recommended by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So moving ahead in the discussion, so what is a peace formula? So these are very two classic verses which came to my mind regarding this concept, that how do we, what it is a little bit related to the discussion led by Nupur earlier. I think devotee is peaceful, that quality. So, how does desirelessness and peace are related? They are related, and we'll see in these two verses how they are related. So, what is a peace formula? So, in this verse, CC Madhya, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ata Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakaleya Shanta. So it says, because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment, Gyanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. So, how do we understand this? So, devotee of Krishna has no other desire other than serving Krishna. And like here, it's this verse says the fruitive workers, they desire material enjoyment, better living conditions, better accommodations, or Gyanis desire liberation, merging into impersonal Brahman, becoming one with the Supreme Lord, or yogis, they desire material opulence or yogic perfection and magic. Because they all want something, kami, they are lusty, and thus they cannot be peaceful. So there is also one more verse from Bhagavad Gita which is related to the uh, peace formula. Srila Prabhupada mentions this as a peace formula. Does anyone know about that verse?
529, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So 529 says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradam sarva bhutanam gyatvam mam shantim richati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So, what this says is Krishna is the beneficiary of all human activities. Everything should be offered to Krishna. Krishna is supreme controller, proprietor, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices, austerities. And he is also the only friend who can actually do good to others. Suradham Sarva Bhutanam. Only he is the friend who can do good to others. So one who understands these three principles, that Krishna is ultimate beneficiary, he is the supreme lord of all, is the controller and proprietor, and is the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. He can become desireless or nishkama. So there are two words, akama and nishkama, both are used for desireless. And therefore, so one who knows these three principles about Krishna consciousness becomes desireless, nishkam, and therefore become peaceful. So a Krishna Bhakta knows that his only Krishna is his friend and protector in all his respects. So he has nothing to do for his who is able to do Krishna is able to do anything for his devotee. So a devotee completely surrenders to Krishna. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashanti. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So this is a very strong assurance that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, that the devotee, the Krishna gives his assurance that my devotee never perishes. I take full charge of him. So the devotees live in Krishna and has no desire for personal benefit. He has complete faith in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and that Krishna is completely protected by the Supreme Lord. Like Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. So a devotee is desireless because Krishna will give him all the protection in all the circumstances. So he has that faith. And it is not that he expects any assistance from Krishna. He simply depends on Krishna, like a child, helpless child depends on his parents. So that is how a devotee depends completely on Krishna. And knowing that the child does not know how to expect the service from the parent, but he is protected nevertheless. So, like that, a devotee is completely depends on Krishna, and this is called nishkam or desirelessness. So the
So just
conclusion is, sorry,
yeah, you can conclude, and then I have a question here, Prabhu.
yes, Prabhu. I'll conclude. So the conclusion is that only the devotees who are completely satisfied in serving the Lord can become desireless. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam in the previous verse, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. So since the Krishna Bhakta is satisfied in Krishna consciousness, satisfied with Krishna, there is no possibility of fall down. Yes, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu.
So this fight for 29, right? I wonder sometimes who is this verse for? Because um like if we this verse can't be applied by a very strong materialist. For instance, I mean, why I'll tell you. This is just my thinking. When correct me if I
Hmm.
am wrong here. So because Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, right? Whatever is there in the world, all sacrifice, austerity. Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary, he's saying here, right? So
Hmm.
then a materialist would think that, oh, really? Like, but then I want to be the beneficiary, right?
Hmm.
A materialist would think like that. Similarly, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, like Sarva Loka. But then I want to become Sarva Loka, a materialist would say, right? So it
Hmm.
seems as if in this verse, the only thing that might give peace to a materialist is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, right? Because, okay, you are saying Krishna is my Suhrid, Krishna is my dear friend and well-wisher. Okay, that gives me peace, right? But I'm just
Hmm.
wondering how the first two give peace. Like, how would the first two give peace to someone? Yeah, I was just wondering about this. Yeah.
Hmm. Good question, Prabhu. So I was just thinking. So first of all, does this? Uh, yeah, your question is very valid. That how would a materialist, if he is not convinced with that Krishna is ultimate beneficiary or he is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, then first of all, for a materialist, he wants to enjoy. Uh, he wants better living conditions and or things like that. So he wants something. He is kami. So that alone is a reason to be not peaceful. So I agree with your point that the Suradam Sarva Bhutanam is the only thing in this case which might give peace to a materialist, that because Krishna is benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. So only Krishna is a friend who can do actual good to everyone.
Mm.
So, but does it does it help, Prabhu, or we can discuss a more
Yeah, no, I
deeper
mean,
meaning?
definitely yeah, as you mentioned, the state of desiring something for oneself, that itself is very ashanta, very what to call it, like very chaotic in one sense.
Hmm.
There is no peace over there. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada mentions it very clearly that because all these want something, they are kami, they are lusty. He even, I think, uses word non-devotees. They want something kami, they cannot be peaceful. So,
Mhm.
so to the degree we want that to that degree we won't be peaceful.
Mm,
That is my understanding.
acha. Yeah, I'm just thinking if we could form. Yeah, okay, I don't want to speculate too much. I was just thinking if we could form like a causal, like a chain here in the sense that we begin with Krishna as our friend, like that is the easiest to accept. And from there,
Mm.
we work towards trying to convince ourselves that he is also Bhoktaram Yagyatas Tapasam, he is also Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, like that. So So Suhridam
Mm,
Sarva Bhutanam is easier to accept. So we start from there.
mm,
Then we cultivate knowledge to get to the point of the first two. And then when all
mm,
this sort of comes together, then we get to the Shanti stage or the Brahma Mukti
mm,
stage or whatever. Anyway, yeah, sorry
mm.
for blabbering on. Go
No,
ahead.
no, thank you for the inputs. Nice thought.
Just came to my mind, Prabhu, that
Yes.
as devotee who's not a devotee will not accept anything. Even he may say, "Oh, benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities." Is it really
Hmm,
right? If you're not devotee, will not accept anything. He will not accept there is God, there is Krishna. Where is it? I don't see him.
hmm,
Right. So is it important that non-devotee should believe in something, or we convince him to? He will not be convinced with anything. I come across a lot of people who just argue and argue because
hmm,
can't realize, can't perceive that. So no
Mm,
matter what it is, they will they will not accept anything actually.
hmm,
So I mean, you need certain kind of inclination, right, which comes from the mercy of Krishna only to accept what Krishna is saying.
hmm,
And even Krishna,
mm,
I don't remember the shlokas, but Krishna says also in one of the verses that not everybody can know me or understand me, right,
yeah.
without His mercy.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thought also. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, good thought. I was just thinking in this case, it would be that's Krishna's special mercy that he sends his devotees uh, to mm, like people of this world. That
Hmm,
like this is a kind of more explanation or the application of this Suryodham Sarvabhutanam. I feel from within he is guiding, but also
hmm,
externally he sends guru, he sends devotees
yeah.
uh, who carry the same spirit that Krishna is so benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. So that's what devotee also tries to help everyone in this world
Hmm,
to know to help them know that Krishna is benefactor and well-wisher of them.
yeah.
Anything else anyone wants to comment or have any questions? Yeah, I think Lekha Mataji has hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is a very amazing discussion, Prabhuji. Actually, I very much agree with what Suman Mataji was talking about. To me, I feel like a lot of these shlokas that are not very intuitive is mostly a realization. Like we cannot if we don't believe in it, it's very hard for us like accept it. But as we are in this path, and the more Krishna's intervention in our life happens, we can then connect the dots backward, and we will be like, oh, that makes sense, Krishna is my best friend because such and such thing has happened. And when I had no one to like save me, even my own family to not save me, Krishna was the only one who was there. So it's more of a, oh, okay, so my realization is correct. As or like my realization, what I mean to say is my realization is the right direction, and it is being attested in the sloka. That is one way I'm seeing it. And the other way, so there is a backward direction and a forward direction. Backward direction is where we are connecting the dots and having this realization. The forward direction is where we it this shlokas like these help us purify, in the sense that since we are still in like contact with the material energy, we also most of us still have like certain seeds of like lust, envy, greed, and this is a way in which we can like remove that seed. I'm like, okay, I don't like this person, I'm judging this person, but hey, the same Krishna who's your super soul in your heart is also living in that same person. So whatever reaction that whatever that person did to you, maybe they are also entangled as much as I am. So then it helps me forget, and kind of completely fry the seeds of like some seeds of lust, greed, envy, and anger. And that happens because the remembrance that Krishna gives me based on this shloka. That's the forward connection. That's the perspective that I have, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice reflections. I like the backward and forward things how you mentioned.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Can you repeat the forward thing, Mataji, once more? So
Yes,
backward is
Prabhuji.
realization, when you realize, you connect the
Y- y-
dots and realize.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, the forward one is the one where, like, because I'm still entangled in this world, but because I'm already on this journey, that means um I still have some work to do to like get out seeds of like lust, anger, greed. I still have those seeds inside me. So whatever, because those seeds reside in me, I'm going to have enmity towards other living entities. I'm going to have unnecessary or unregulated material desires. So the forward connection is where by reciting the sloka or reading the sloka, I can get myself out of such entanglement. Like for example, if I have an issue with a friend and I'm judging her, um the realization I can think of is, okay, that same Krishna who's my best friend sitting inside me is the same Krishna who's also sitting inside her, which means she's also going through certain issues that makes her behavior towards me like this. And by that realization, this is actually an actual thing that happened to me. So because of that, I was able to like let go of that resentment, and by letting go of that resentment, I personally feel I was actually able to progress a little better in how I perceive or judge people. So it's just these shlokas like this that helps me like fry those seeds of like lust, greed, anger, envy, all. Basically that was the forward connection. The forward connection is, it just helps you step over your automatic unnecessary seeds of the anarthas automatically get de-seeded, because we are able to like recite these shlokas, and Krishna sitting inside gives you that remembrance. I'm sorry if I like confused even more, but
This is good. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, devotees, will move to the next section of a personality from Srimad Bhagavatam who exemplifies this quality. And I chose Parikshit Maharaj as the personality in my case. So I had few points. I made 6 points how Parikshit Maharaj exemplifies desirelessness, kama. So we'll go one by one. First one is he ruled he ruled without selfish enjoyment. So we know that Parikshit Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. So he ruled as a true representative of Krishna under the direction, under the instructions of Brahmanas, and he had conquered so many all parts of earthly planets and exacted tribute from the respective rulers. And he was very competent and responsible king. He used there are many cases where he immediately arrested the impostor posing as a king in order to administer the punishment, or uh, or he took up the arms and was ready to ward off the infiltrations of Kali Yuga. So he always protected citizens, dharma, cows, social order, and he was a essence seeker, a realist who always looked for good things in everything. Even he saw good in Kali. So he was always concerned about uh, protecting dharma, cows, spiritual welfare, not for his personal comfort. And uh, and we can see his quality of compassion here when he confronted Kali, when Kali in form of Shudra was attacking the bull and cow, signified as dharma and earth. So he that showed his detachment from selfish rulership and commitment to Krishna's principles. In Bhagavad Gita 3.19 says Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara. So performing duty without attachment. So in this case, we can see how Parikshit Maharaj uh, mm, displayed the quality of desirelessness, that he did this without any personal motivation, personal comforts. Next is his response to curse showed freedom from material attachment. So we know this story when Parikshit Maharaj was fatigued and thirsty during his hunting expedition. He he went to the ashram of Samik Rishi, and uh, Samik Rishi was absorbed in his meditation, completely controlled his mind and senses, and he was aloof to the external environment. So, seeing that Parikshit Maharaj, because he was fatigued and thirsty, he became angry and placed with his bow placed a dead snake around his neck. And later, seeing this situation, the son of Samikrishi, Shringi, Brahmana boy, gave a curse to Parikshit Maharaj that he will die in 7 days. A snake bird Takshak will bite him and he will die in 7 days. So upon hearing this curse to die in 7 days, he did not he did not resist materially, but actually accepted the curse as Lord's mercy. So he did not, when he heard this curse, he could have fought for survival or seek revenge or so many other things, but he did not do that. He did not fight for survival, seek revenge, or desperately pursue any solutions for this. I mean, medical or relatively material solutions, or cling to his political power. And he was, after all, a king. He had the authority, but he still peacefully accepted the curse as Lord's arrangement, and he renounced the kingdom. As soon as he heard this curse, he renounced the kingdom, his royal comforts, palatial life, all family attachment, all all things related to his kingdom, uh, political authority, military protection, and so on. So this is a very strong major sign of akama. Is because material desires become strongest at the time of death. So he renounced the kingdom, went to Ganges, fasted till until death, and prepared for his spiritual perfection. And we can also see that he did not become, so basically his response to the curse, he did not become uh, vindictive towards Shringi. Um, he accepted the curse as beneficial because it detached him from the worldly life. So we can see how a materially attached person usually reacts with anger, revenge, self-protection, or blame. But in this case, Parikshit Maharaj did not do that. He instead becomes spiritually focused, taking complete shelter of Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing the message from Sukdev Goswami. Third point is welcome Sukdev Goswami with humility. So when Sukdev Goswami arrived in the arena, Parikshit Maharaj, although he was a world emperor, he humbly sat as a disciple before him, and He abandoned his royal pride completely, humbly sat as a disciple before Sukdev Goswami, and became very eager spiritual listener. So material desires often manifest as pride, ego, or desire for superiority. But Parikshit Maharaj abandoned royal pride completely and became an eager listener to receive the message. Next, fourth point is his only desire was only had a he only had intense desire for hearing Krishna Katha. So we know the famous verse Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandam Dasam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam, spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in seventh canto. It mentions about 9 processes of devotional service, Navvidha Bhakti. So in that, Parikshit Maharaj is quoted as a best example of Shravanam, of hearing the glories of Krishna. So after renouncing everything, Parikshit Maharaj asked a very essential question. What is the duty of one who is about to die? So this question itself reveals a pure spiritual desire of Parikshit Maharaj. He did not ask how to extend my life, how can I regain the kingdom, or how can I now I'm going to die. At least can I have secure some heavenly enjoyment, or how can I protect my body? He was completely His only interest was in hearing about Hari, the Supreme Lord, attaining perfection, about hearing about devotional service, how to attain ultimate perfection, and using his remaining time, 7 days he had, his remaining time spiritually. And he repeatedly asked questions only related to Krishna and soul's welfare in the conversations. Fifth point was he did not seek liberation or heavenly enjoyment. So, for pure devotees do not even prioritize moksha over devotion. So Parikshit Maharaj focused completely on Krishna, Ante Narayana Smriti, remembering Narayan at the time of death, and did not desire impersonal liberation also. And he is hearing and chanting, he focused on hearing and chanting about Krishna, and that is emphasized as a supreme perfection. And the verse I initially quoted in this discussion, Akama Sarvo Kamoma Moksha Kama Udaradi. So this verse completely um, uh, uh, corresponds to this situation that Parikshit Maharaj had uh, uh, completely focused on uh, hearing and chanting about Krishna, and that has emphasized as a supreme perfection. And finally, the sixth one, he was fully absorbed in Krishna at time of death. So Parikshit Maharaj fixed his mind completely on Krishna before leaving his body, and he became fearless by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. He had duties, emotions, responsibilities, and an intense eagerness to hear about Krishna. And so he did not have any selfish sense gratification or bodily obsession. He fasted until death or a separate ambition from Krishna. So his desires were completely transformed into pure devotional service, and he became fearless by hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here we can see that desirelessness does not mean emptiness, inactivity, or suppression. It means all desires to be centered on for Krishna's pleasure, for his service, and remembering and serving him. So with that, I would like to conclude, uh, summarize these 6 aspects, how Parikshit Maharaj exemplifies desirelessness, akama, in this table, that he had no attachment to power, he renounced the kingdom immediately, no obsession with bodily survival, accepted approaching death peacefully, no material ambition, when he was asking questions to Sukdev Goswami, he asked only spiritual questions, no bodily attachment, fasted until death, no false ego, sat humbly before Sukdev Goswami. He had no revenge mentality. He forgave the curse. He forgave Shringi. Pure spiritual absorption, heard Bhagavatam continuously, 7 days, 7 nights, only so much eager to hear about Krishna and achieve perfection. So, with that, I would like to conclude my discussion today. Thank you very much for listening. Uh, we can have any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, it was amazing, Prabhuji. Actually, the way you connected Parikshit Maharaj, in the sense that, like, it, his depiction is not almost like, okay, he was completely desireless in the beginning. Like, he was like always at 916 gold mark standard. There were some things that us as humans in this planet Earth in Kali Yuga can also like relate with him. And then he was able to still achieve the highest perfection stage, which means it gives us also like a lot of. I think this was what I was trying to like uh, connect the dots in terms of connecting forwards, because so Parikshit Maharaj at the end, he didn't carry any resentment with Samik Rishi. He didn't carry any anger. He was not worried about, okay, what is going to happen to my power, my kingdom. All of this because he was able to like remember that Krishna is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I think that's what that helps. One question I have though, Prabhuji, is what are your thoughts on, is there a possibility that Parikshit Maharaj could have misplaced compassion? By showing compassion to Kali, did he did he have any misplaced, because he let that happen? Of course, in hindsight, it is Krishna's desire, but just ignoring that layer out for this conversation, do you think it is wise, or would you say that Parikshit Maharaj had misplaced compassion towards still letting Kali, knowing the nature of Kali, um, still enter his kingdom in specific places?
Yeah, good question, Mataji. So, my thoughts on this is, uh, I mean, he did allow Kali to be just. Uh, I mean, because of his uh, dharmic, the way he was so dharmic, Parikshit Maharaj, and his in his kingdom, there were no everywhere there were religious principles followed for the satisfaction of the Lord. So all these things, Kali, when he asked Kali to, he took up his sword to kill Kali when he saw that he was trying to harm the bull and cow. So he was completely, the Kali, out of fear, completely surrendered to him. And so that is also, I feel, a quality of a devotee, that he is compassionate and forgiving. So he accepted the surrender with a smile. And uh, uh, he said, since you are surrendered, you need not fear for life, but you cannot remain in my kingdom. So he asked Kali to lead the kingdom, and then when Kali asked where can he have a place, so he gave places where the gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughters were performed, and then he asked for more than he gave for gold, where gold resides. So thus Kali was allowed to live in these five places. So I feel this is also quality of a devotee, that he is forgiving. Uh, Maybe I can. Anyone else would like to share? We can have more devotees' thoughts on this.
There is a comment by Aishwarya Mataji on this. I feel Parikshit Maharaj tried reducing Kali's influence by giving him specific places and let him not be everywhere. So calculated compassion. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, thank you, Nadiya Kishore Prabhu and Aishwarya Madhaj. I think that makes sense. He didn't, yes, I didn't think of it this way. Both of you make the right point in the sense that, yeah, he was not gullible enough to like let Kali come in, but he also gave Kali like, okay, you can be in these places, which means like anyone who's trying to attain progress in the spiritual life will probably not associate themselves in these places. Thank you, Ashwarya Mataji and Nadiya Kishore Prabhu. That answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Any other thoughts, questions, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So I think I missed a little bit in between. So why did you bring up, maybe you can share this once again,
Mhm.
the peace formula? How did you connect that with this quality, Prabhu? The desire, not
So,
having any desires. Yeah.
mhm.
Thank you.
So, being desire, so basically, we cannot be peaceful if we are not desireless. And the meaning of, because a devotee of Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. So, it is connected to the other quality also. A devotee is peaceful. But in this case, I when I was doing preparation and contemplating on the topic, there are many verses where these two things were very much related in Srila Prabhupada's purports and the section from Satswarup Maharaj's book. So this is when uh, I mean, although the focus of this discussion was not peaceful, I mean, the quality of being peaceful, that was covered by Nupur Mataji, but I strongly felt this was very much related. The quality of desirelessness and peacefulness, how we can attain uh, the, I mean, only devotee who is desireless, having no material desires, can be peaceful.
So the point that you're making is somebody who is desireless has realized this um, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasa,
Mm-hmm.
has realized this and hence is peaceful. Or the other way of thinking about it is, are you saying that somebody who has realized that everything, that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of everything, and hence they don't have any personal desires? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Prabhu, I think in both ways. So in this first verse from CC, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shant Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Shant. So this verse, it was mentioned that the fruitive workers Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. So all these type of people, they want something. They are kami or lusty. That's why they cannot attain peace. So they have desires. They are not desireless. And the next Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. So this verse is connected to the previous verse in the sense that when one knows Krishna is uh, Bhoktaram Yagyatab Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, then he can be then only he becomes desireless and then peaceful. So one who understands these three principles, that Krishna is the supreme beneficiary, controller, proprietor, and benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. So So that person can become desireless,
Got,
nishkam, therefore become peaceful.
got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you. So peace is the ultimate benefit of this. But I think I got it. I got it, Prabhu. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for the
but we
explanation.
can, yes, yes, thank you, Prabhu. So we can, according to these two verses, we can only be peaceful if we are desireless. Only if a devotee of Krishna has only desire to serve Krishna and not bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami. So if we have that, then you cannot be peaceful.
Got it. Thank you so much, Prabhu. That was very, very nice. Very nice realization.
Prabhu, one more point I just came to my mind. That
Yes, Mataji.
longing for the desire is what takes your peace away, right? Just having a desire may not disturb you as much as longing for it. Is that
Uh, I would say yes. I mean, in one way, it is, but why? But how a devotee is peaceful? Because he is completely surrendered to Krishna. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwas Palan." So Krishna will protect me in all circumstances.
Mm,
I have nothing to worry, nothing to desire, complete faith and surrender in Krishna. Krishna will take care of me.
mm,
So then we become, then one can become peaceful. So uh, just having these desires or longing for them, like initially I think in the dictionary meaning there was something, yeah, to long or hope for,
mm, mm,
as one
mm,
of the meanings, to long or hope for. So that uh, because we are trying, if we are not uh, if we are trying to lord it over the material nature, enjoy the resources of Krishna,
mm,
or merge, trying to like Gyanis desire liberation, merge into impersonal Brahman, and so that is also a desire. So that is not, so this is all are kami, and hence they cannot be peaceful.
Thank you, Prabhu. I mean, the desires come and go. I mean, every day many desires come and go. The one which you long for, that disturbs you. Material desires I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the one which you say, I must have it, that's what to keep you disturbed all day, or many, many weeks. Otherwise, the desires come and go, you don't care about those, right? But yes, if all the desires are for Krishna, of course, none of those will disturb you. I understand.
So,
Thank you.
just to add to what Prabhuji mentioned, what you're saying, Mataji, that is what Krishna mentions in a verse in the, which chapter is that? Second
260,
chapter.
262.
2.62 BG. No, not this
Dhyayato,
one. No,
Dhyayato
no,
Vishyam also?
no, no, no. It is Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham, 270. So you mentioned the longing for desire, right? So Krishna mentions this uh, term called kama kami. So
Mm,
this verse is Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtham Samudram Apa Pravishanti Yadvat Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashantim Apnoti Na Kama Kami. So Krishna is saying a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that
mm,
enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is
mm.
always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
Thank
So, right, so this is exactly what you were mentioning, like the desires come and go,
you.
but then a peaceful person is like an ocean, very still and very peaceful. So even though desires are coming like different rivers, that person, like the ocean, doesn't get affected that much, right? But on the other hand, if there is a person who is always striving to fulfill those desires, right? Okay, this desire is coming, okay, I'll fulfill this. This desire is coming, I'll fulfill that. This desire is coming, I'll fulfill that as well. So that is what Krishna terms as kama kami. So not just the desire, but the desire to fulfill the desire. So it's like one step back, taking one step back. So that is, but yeah, sashanti apnoti na kama kami. So the peaceful person actually, they even though they get desires due to whatever residual karmic reaction that is left from their pre yogic days, they might get desires, but then they choose not to engage, not to fulfill rather. So they either fulfill, they either don't fulfill it, like they curtail it, or they dovetail it. So curtail is they restrict it, or dovetail is they try to redirect it. So either of the two things can be done, and it is very individual as to what to do when, which requires guidance. So yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu, for referring to this shloka. Actually, I was saying from my own experience that,
Mhm.
that desires, all day come and go, but then you just really set your mind that I really want this. That's what disturbs you all day. So thank you for referring to
Yeah.
the Shastra.
For
And
me,
if you
sorry, go ahead, bro.
no, you go ahead. You finish your thought, Prabhu.
So like for me, it becomes very real because I'm trying to give up sugar, and but I try to eat fruits to fulfill my sugar craving. So kama kami. So the craving for sugar is there, but I want to fulfill it. But at the same time, you know, previously when I would get a craving for sugar at night, I would just kama kami. The craving is there, let me fulfill it. But now, okay, the craving is there, let me not fulfill it with sugar, refined sugar. Let me fulfill it with, fruits, redirecting, right? I can't curtail it, so I'll try to dovetail it. And then, yeah, anyway, Krishnan Prabhu, go ahead,
And
bro.
wonderful thoughts, Prabhu. And I think you hit the right verse. Now, the reason I was pointing you to 262, and I thought maybe you're going there,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll just share my thought, which
Yeah,
is
please. Yeah.
Krishna also helps us understand the why desires come, and that 262 is a good verse for us to reflect on.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to, sometimes you feel like desires are just things that come from past life or something. No, desires could even erupt in our current life if we are, if we don't pay attention to where our mind is wandering.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he talks about the dhyato vishyan punsa
Yes.
sangasya jo upajayate. And so step by step, every aspect of this has been addressed here about desires
Mm.
in these few verses.
And Krishna Prabhu, this is a beautiful point that you mentioned, that it's the past karmas that you take it further with certain attachment. That in daily life also we see that for certain things you have attachment. Some people have attachment to career; they can't give up. We must have it, otherwise you're not happy. But
No,
they won't.
but past karmas, I think the point that I was making is past karmas is one reason. That is, there could be residual desires, but also we are forming new desires
Sure,
every day, even in our life today. I think
sure.
that's the 262. Because if you're not careful, we will form desires, new desires.
Mm.
Right.
If you don't dovetail them,
If you don't dovetail them, yes.
it becomes impression. Yeah, yeah,
Either dovetail or curtail. I love that. I'm going to make a T-shirt.
yeah. Please make it for all of us.
Okay.
Beautiful class,
Yes.
Nagar Prabhu. It was simple, engaging, it's easy to understand, and it was we can resonate with a lot of points.
And to close it off, do you mind sharing the verse on Kami versus Krishna Prem from Chaitanya Charitamrita that you in the beginning you quoted it, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. This one?
And the comparison, right?
Oh, okay, wait.
I have that also. I was going to comment on that, so apologies.
This one. आत्मेंद्रिय प्रीति वांछा तारे बलि कामा कृष्णेंद्रिय प्रीति इच्छा धरे प्रेम नाम.
Premanand, yes. I've heard in this in many classes, and thank you for bringing this up again, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, dear devotees. Nadiya Kishore Prabhu, I totally echo everyone's thoughts. Wonderful class, very nicely researched. Various facets of desirelessness you covered, which was amazing, and lot to remember, lot to take home and contemplate, and yeah, make our spiritual lives much more sublime. Thank you very much for that.
And when the presentation is shared, I'm going to print it and keep it in on my desk.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you again, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, just quick announcement to
Thank you.
next Tuesday, we don't have the class because most of us will be at Sadhu Sangha and we'll be staying back after Sadhu Sangha, which is the Tuesday. Sadhu Sangha ends on Monday, but a lot of us are staying back for another event that is going to happen. So, next Tuesday, we won't meet. We'll meet directly on the 2nd of June. So until then, have a nice 2 weeks, dear devotees, and we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हिज ग्रेस नादिया किशोर प्रभु की जय
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.